For our sermon today, we actually have a roundtable conversation with three of our youth. Earlier this week, we recorded a session where I asked them some of the big questions of life, some of the issues that many of us of all ages, as Katie said, we are all wondering, and we all have tapped within us the answers for the questions of big life, of the big questions of life. So, as our youth and our teens talk about these big questions, I invite you to reflect on these questions yourself. Engage with the conversation in the chat if you want, and mostly cheer on our most amazing young people. So I am here with Mary and Chloe and Colin, and we're going to talk about like the big issues, some of the questions that people think about when they think about religion, and you all are going to get the chance to tell the whole rest of the congregation how you see things. So I would love it if you just went around and introduced yourself first, and then we'll launch into some questions.
I'm Colin Lifshitz. I go by he, him pronouns. I'm a freshman at Sunny Slope.
Awesome. Thanks, Colin.
Hi, my name is Mary McManus. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I am a senior at Arcadia High School.
My name is Chloe Susan Brown. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a senior at McClintock High School.
Awesome. Welcome, you all. So we're going to talk about some of the big questions. And I wanted to start with, like, as Unitarian Universalists, we don't have necessarily a Bible telling us how to be good, moral people. We don't, some people don't believe in heaven or hell, heaven as a reward for when you're good, or hell as punishment when you're bad. So, how do you know how to be good? How do you know how to be a moral person if you don't have any of those? And who wants to start us out?
I'll start. I think it's mainly the consequences and the guilt that may come with it. So if you think through your actions and you think about the consequences, and if you don't like them, then you'll most likely feel guilt for them, and that would just drive you to do the right thing and better yourself.
And how do you know what to feel guilty about?
It's mainly you, the person. Like, some people might have looser boundaries than others, and that's how we get diverse people.
Cool. Who wants to go next?
I definitely think that, like, at least personally, I think that the golden rule is kind of the way to go. You know, treating people the way that we want to be treated. I try to put myself in the other person's shoes. Like, if someone were doing this or saying this to me, um, would I feel okay about it? And if the answer is no, I try not to do it. I slip up sometimes. Um, I do get a little bit quippy at times, but that's generally the rule I try to go by. And I just don't like to make people feel bad about themselves. So that's kind of my moral compass. Just don't make people feel bad.
And where did you learn that, Mary? Like, how did you learn to do that? How do you learn to be a good person?
I guess I'd say I kind of learned it just going off of like my own life experiences and, you know, people treating me in not very great ways or like pretty good ways. And if they treated me not so well, kind of, I guess this kind of loops back, but I don't want people to feel bad. And I know what makes me, I've been through things that like made me feel bad, and I know it feels bad. So I guess I just learned that when people do mean things, it is mean. And so you shouldn't do this to other people because they're not really any different from you.
Fair, thank you. What do you think, Chloe? How do you know to be good? How do you know how to be a moral person?
I think similar to what Colin and Mary said, for me at least, it's self-motivated. I think I don't want to end up doing something that I'll look back on and regret, either because it hurt someone else or it was self-sabotage or something like that. I think being a good person depends on what, I mean, good is subjective, I guess, but I think it depends on what I think. To be a good person, I think you, like, at the end of your life, you can look back and you can say, I think, I don't think I did anything. Sorry, you can like look back and like overall, I guess, just be satisfied with what you've done over your life.
Yeah, that feeling of pride to say I was a good person, like that internal intrinsic thing. So I would like to know why you all are Unitarian Universalists. So I know two of you were raised in the faith and one chose it, but why Unitarian Universalism? What is it that is, why is that important for you to be? Because let's be honest, you're at the age, you're young adults, where you could say, no, I don't want to do this. I want to sleep in. I want to hang out and play video games instead of, going to worship, whether it's in your house or whether it's on Lincoln. So Chloe, are you okay starting with you? Why are you you?
Yeah, I can start. So I was born into the faith. I went to Sunday school every week until like eighth grade, pretty much. I didn't enjoy it when I was little, just because there was lots of I guess there were like boring teachers or boring ideas, but I still kept going because my parents wanted me to. But then when I moved to Arizona from Rhode Island at the start of high school, felt I felt very disconnected or lost, I guess, disconnected from my faith and also just from my former community, since I was so far away. And I think Unitarian Universalism was kind of something that could be kept constant and helped me find a new community of people.
That's awesome. And I understand it was at your urging that your family started coming to the UU congregation, and thank you for that, for you and for your whole family. Mary or Colin, why are you Unitarian Universalist?
Mainly for me, it's about why I'm a member instead of Unitarian, because I was born into a Unitarian Universalist. I now realize that it's a very important thing in my life, and I wanted to keep it that way. But when I was younger, I did not like coming to church every Sunday because I didn't see a point. But now that I really see what Unitarian Universalism is about, I realize that it has been opening my mind every Sunday, and without it, I feel like I would be more in my own head, in the sense that I wouldn't know what's happening in the world around me, and this broadened my perspective.
And I love that you differentiated between membership and just being a UU. And you are an official member after the coming of age class, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Mary, you found Unitarian Universalism more recently. Tell us a little bit about why you're a UU.
Yeah, so I was not raised in the faith like Chloe or Colin. I was raised as a Roman Catholic, which, as we all know, is the best. And that's why I never left. But yeah, I was raised in the faith, obviously. And as a kid, there weren't like things to do for kids at the church. Like as a 7-year-old, I would have to sit through mass. It was boring. Like 7-year-olds, first of all, I didn't understand half the words they were saying. And honestly, I still don't. But I was just playing like video games on my Nintendo DS because I didn't want to be there. I got nothing out of it. And when I started getting older and like forming my own opinions and figuring out who I was, I just realized that the church's kind of views don't exactly align with my own. There were some kind of moments I had that really turned me off from ever wanting to like continue with Catholicism. Kind of the attitude towards atheists, the attitudes towards abortion, where it felt really hostile, even though, you know, Christianity is supposed to be about love. So I realized that that wasn't where I wanted to be. And I guess I stumbled upon this cool place called the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix. And I showed up one day, and I think that was about a year and a half ago. And it was my first day, and I just happened to sit next to Johnny Lifshitz, which was terrifying because he couldn't stop asking me questions, and I felt intimidated. Obviously, I'm not intimidated by Johnny now. But I slowly but surely started kind of finding my people. Chloe and I got really close at that first overnight. And I just kind of really agreed with what the congregation believed in. Like it aligned way more with like what I believed in than the Catholic Church ever could or ever will. And I guess one of the big things I like is just this whole idea of consent. You aren't forced to sign the book with crayons when you're like 6 years old. But you know, I was baptized when I was like less than a year old. And I was, you know, confirmed when I was like 8 or something in like second grade. And I had no idea what was happening. But I was just expected to become Catholic because my parents said so. And I just kind of like the idea that, you know, we are allowing people to consent to what is comfortable for them, especially during COVID. Now having the congregation completely virtual, there's like no pressure to feel like you have to come back or you're missing out on something because you're not there in person. So basically, that was a really long, rambling speech.
Beautiful answer. It was a great answer. And I think we all love hearing your story.
But I am here. Hello.
Yes. And it says so much about you, Mary, that you, as a young adult, said, this is something that's important to me, and I'm going to go out even if I'm doing it on my own. That says so much about who you are. So great. Last question, super fast. Like, what kind of issues are important to you all? Like, what kinds of justice issues, things happening in the world are important to you? I know there's lots to choose from.
For me, it's a broad topic of health, which includes a lot of things like global warming, uh, like sea animals, I guess, on choking on plastic, and a lot of other things. But
They all fit under that health umbrella for you.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What about for you, Chloe?
I think for me, I'm definitely passionate about like human rights issues, but I think at least the most pressing need, in my opinion, is climate justice, just because of the way, like, it's the first thing that we need to address, because if we don't, then there will be no human rights issues in the future, because there will be no humans. So
That's very true, and so relevant for your generation, you know, looking at that, looking at your future. What about for you, Mary?
Yeah, so definitely what Colin and Chloe said. I do really believe in climate justice, um, because there's no planet B. There's no second option. And I'm only 18 years old, and I would like to have a future. That would be nice. But kind of my main thing right now, especially with everything that's happened in the past year, kind of just focusing on like people, like human rights issues, civil rights issues, um, just taking care of everyone, because it's the right thing to do, um, and hopefully trying to convince people that they should care about other people, um, which is not an easy task, which is very hard to kind of come to terms with. But I've really been trying to advocate for people that are not as fortunate as myself. I'm very privileged, um, to be white and solidly in the middle class. Um, so I'm trying not to speak over people when their voices need to be heard, but I just get so caught up in stuff that um, I just go on rants. But I'm trying my best. So yeah, definitely people-based stuff, and I guess climate is people-based stuff, because people will not be people if we are on fire.
True. That is true. Okay, well, I think I speak for everyone to say you all rock, like seriously rock. And we all have so much to learn from you. And thank you for being honest and vulnerable and talking to me on the screen. And I wish I could give you all a great big hug, and just much, much love to you all. Thank you.